Whoever said it's better to give than to receive probably never found themselves exhausted from constantly pouring into others without receiving anything in return. I've been there, giving my time, energy, and resources only to feel overlooked and underappreciated. It's a tough spot, one that many of us have faced, especially if you're trying to live by Stoic principles in a world that often confuses kindness with weakness. Today, we're going to explore how to offer your compassion wisely and protect your peace, drawing on some timeless Stoic wisdom. We'll uncover why setting boundaries isn't just smart, it's necessary to preserve both your dignity and your sanity. So if you've ever felt like your kindness is being taken for granted, stick around. This discussion might just change the way you interact with the world around you. Navigating the tightrope between being compassionate and maintaining self-respect can feel like one of life's great juggling aches. It's all about giving to others without losing yourself in the process. But how do we strike this delicate balance? It's not about withholding kindness or compassion. It's about ensuring that our generosity does not deplete our own resources, emotional, physical, or otherwise. Stoicism, a philosophy that has stood the test of time, offers a profound understanding of why self-respect is not just beneficial, but necessary when practicing compassion. Stoics teach us the importance of knowing ourselves and recognizing what we can and cannot control. In the context of kindness, this means understanding our limits and boundaries. Marcus Aurelius, a famed Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of acting according to our own nature while respecting our capacity to give. This can be challenging, especially when society often values self-sacrifice as a measure of goodness. But Stoicism suggests a different measure, acting with wisdom. It's about giving not until it hurts, but until it's enough. Enough for the situation, enough for the person in need, and enough according to what our own resources allow. When we talk about resources, I am not just referring to material things. Emotional and mental resources are just as critical. Have you ever felt drained after a day of helping others, almost as if you've given all of yourself away? That's a sign that your kindness might be unbalanced. To prevent this, we should consider setting clear boundaries. These aren't barriers to keep people out, but guidelines that help us interact with others respectfully and sustainably. It's okay to say no or to tell someone, I can help you with this, but not that. This not only protects our well-being, but also teaches others how to treat us with the respect we deserve. Furthermore, self-respect in Stoicism isn't about ego or pride. It's about self-awareness and living in harmony with our virtues. If kindness is one of your virtues, you must practice it in a way that aligns with your other virtues like wisdom and moderation. Stoic kindness isn't a floodgate open to everyone at all times. It's a well-measured stream directed where it can do real good and where it doesn't erode the river banks. Think of it this way. When you're on an airplane, they always tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Life is much the same. You can't effectively help others if you're gasping for air yourself. Acting with kindness also involves understanding and empathy, not just for others, but for yourself. When you feel the urge to help or give, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are you in a position to offer help without harming your own well-being? Are your acts of kindness coming from a place of genuine care, or are they attempts to seek approval or avoid confrontation? These are tough questions, but essential ones. They help us refine our intentions and ensure our actions are genuinely virtuous, not just superficially generous. By maintaining a balance between compassion and self-respect, we build a kind of kindness that is sustainable and impactful. This approach not only helps us live according to Stoic principles, but also enriches our interactions with others. It fosters relationships based on mutual respect and genuine care, rather than expectation and dependency. So next time you extend a hand to help, remember to keep the other hand on your own heart, ensuring it stays full and strong. In doing so, your capacity to give will not just be preserved, but will grow, making every act of kindness you perform that much more powerful. It's a common misconception that setting boundaries means you're shutting people out. But let's flip that idea on its head. Think of boundaries as the guidelines you draw around a treasure map. They guide everyone to respect the treasure, your energy, time, and emotions, without exploiting it. So let's dive into how setting healthy boundaries is not just a self-care act, but a crucial component of living a Stoic life marked by wisdom and moderation. The Stoics were all about living in alignment with nature, our true nature, and part of understanding our nature involves recognizing our limits and communicating them clearly. Seneca, one of the most respected Stoic thinkers, often talked about the importance of guarding one's time against unnecessary intrusions, akin to how we might protect our property. This isn't about being stingy with your time or yourself. It's about ensuring that you are investing it wisely in ways that are congruent with your values and capabilities. When we fail to set boundaries, we often end up feeling overwhelmed and resentful, emotions that Stoics strive to manage through rational thought and self-awareness. Imagine worry a pitcher full of water. Each task or favor you perform for someone else pours some of your water into their glass. If you pour out too much without refilling, you'll end up empty. Healthy boundaries ensure that you refill your pitcher by saying no when necessary, by allocating time for rest and rejuvenation, and by choosing engagements that align with your values. Here is a practical way to start setting those boundaries. Begin with small, non-confrontational boundaries that feel more like self-promises. For example, decide that you won't check emails after 8 p.m. so you can have time to unwind and focus on personal growth or relaxation. Communicate this to others with clarity and firmness. You might say, I found that I'm more effective when I give myself time to disconnect in the evenings. I'll respond to emails during my designated working hours. This simple boundary can help manage expectations and create a routine that honors your need for downtime. Furthermore, boundaries can help us handle interpersonal relationships more effectively. Stoicism teaches us not to be disturbed by external opinions or behaviors, but rather to focus on our own actions and reactions. By setting boundaries, we actively choose our actions and maintain our tranquility. For instance, if someone has a habit of making unreasonable demands, a Stoic approach would be to calmly explain your limits. I understand your needs, but I can only assist within these specific parameters. Let's find a solution that works within both our limits. This approach doesn't just apply to personal life. It's equally relevant in professional settings. Setting boundaries at work, like defining clear work hours or tasks, can prevent burnout and foster a healthier work environment. It also sets a professional tone, showing that you respect yourself and your work enough to guard your time and efforts, which in turn encourages others to respect them as well. Remember, setting boundaries is not a one-off task. It's a continuous process that involves checking in with yourself, assessing your needs, and adjusting your boundaries as those needs change. Like the Stoics, who continually practiced self-reflection and adjustment in their pursuit of virtue, we too can use boundary setting as a tool to better understand and care for ourselves while fostering healthier, more respectful relationships. So next time you feel guilty about setting a boundary, remember, YOURE, not only protecting your resources, but also teaching others how to engage with you in a respectful and mindful manner. And TEHTS, a win for everyone involved. Let's talk about the backbone of Stoicism and how it applies to our lives today, especially when it comes to being kind without being taken advantage of. Inner strength and resilience aren't just about enduring hardship, they're about thriving amidst challenge while maintaining our composure and kindness. This kind of strength is exactly what the Stoics aim to cultivate, and it's incredibly relevant in our interactions with others. Think about the times you face challenges or when people have pushed your boundaries. It's easy to react impulsively or give in just to avoid conflict. But what if you could respond with calmness and clarity, standing firm in your values while still being compassionate? That's where Stoic resilience comes into play. It's about being so internally strong that external circumstances don't shake your core. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that it's not what happens to us, but how we react to it that matters. Applying this to our lives today, when someone takes your kindness for granted, your reaction, based on inner strength and resilience, determines whether you'll end up feeling victimized or empowered. Cultivating this strength means actively deciding not to let external actions diminish your peace of mind. Building this kind of resilience starts with self-awareness. You need to know what triggers your negative reactions and understand why they happen. This could mean recognizing when you're giving too much to others at your own expense, or noticing when you're about to compromise your boundaries out of a need to be liked or approved of. Once you are aware of these triggers, you can start to work on responding differently. Practicing mindfulness is a fantastic way to strengthen this aspect of yourself. It helps you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings in the moment, allowing you to choose responses that align with your values rather than reacting out of emotion. Mindfulness can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before responding to a request, or as involved as a daily meditation practice. The key is to create a space between what happens to you and your response, giving you the power to choose a reaction that reflects your inner strength. Another Stoic strategy is to regularly remind yourself of your core values. What are the principles that you want to guide your life? Is it integrity, generosity, respect? By keeping these values at the forefront of your mind, you can align your actions with them, which reinforces your resilience. When you act in harmony with your values, even in the face of adversity or exploitation, you reinforce your sense of self and reduce feelings of resentment or victimization. It's also crucial to recognize that resilience isn't about never bending. Like a tree that bends in the storm but doesn't break, resilient people can adapt to circumstances without losing their essence. This adaptability is a form of strength that lets you encounter misuse of your kindness and respond in a way that maintains your dignity and encourages personal growth. Lastly, resilience is nurtured through challenges. Every time you successfully navigate a situation where your kindness could have been taken for weakness, but you build confidence in your ability to handle similar situations in the future. It's about learning and growing from each experience, not just surviving them. So as you move forward, Think of cultivating your inner strength and resilience as equipping yourself with armor and tools, not to battle the world, but to navigate it with wisdom and grace. By building up your internal fortress, you ensure that your ACTS of kindness come from a place of strength and self-assurance, making you not only a giver, but also a wise steward of your own well-being. Ever stop to ponder the real impact of your kindness? ITS, something we often do on autopilot, offering a smile here, a helping hand there, but HERE's a twist. What if we started practicing mindful kindness, where every act of generosity is as intentional as it is heartfelt? This ISNT just about being nice, ITS about being strategically compassionate, ensuring that our good deeds genuinely uplift others without draining ourselves. This thoughtful approach to kindness echoes the Stoic practice of mindfulness, where every action is deliberate and aligned with our core values. In Stoicism, the idea of being mindful and intentional is pivotal. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often emphasize the importance of acting with purpose, not just with emotion. When you practice kindness mindfully, YOURE, not just reacting to a situation, YORE, responding to it with wisdom and insight. This means taking a moment to assess what kind of help is truly beneficial and when it might be more prudent to step back. For example, consider a friend who constantly asks for help with tasks they could easily handle on their own. By automatically saying yes every time, you might think YOURE being kind, but are you really helping? Or are you just enabling a dependency that isn't healthy for either of you? Mindful kindness involves a deep awareness of the context of your actions and their potential impact. ITS about asking yourself, is my act of kindness empowering the other person? Is it fostering independence or dependency? This reflection ISNT about judging your desire to help, but refining it so that your actions lead to positive outcomes for all involved. ITS akin to the Stoic belief in doing what is right, not just what feels good. By aligning our kind gestures with practical wisdom, we ensure they are not only generous, but also genuinely constructive. Moreover, practicing kindness with mindfulness encourage us to stay connected to our inner wisdom. This connection helps us navigate the fine line between helping and overstepping, between caring and controlling. It prompts us to consider the long-term effects of our actions, guiding us to offer support that is sustainable and respectful. For instance, instead of simply giving money to a friend in a financial rut, a mindfully kind person might also spend time discussing budgeting tips or helping to create a financial plan. This approach isn't just solve the immediate problem, but also empowers the friend to manage their financial future more effectively. Another aspect of mindful kindness is being aware of how we feel when we help others. Are we seeking approval, or are we genuinely moved to act out of compassion? Stoicism teaches us to be self-aware and to act from a place of internal strength rather than seeking external validation. This internal audit helps ensure that our kindness is pure and not tainted by the desire for recognition or reward. When our ACTS of kindness come from such a place of purity, they are more likely to be effective and appreciated. Finally, mindful kindness also means recognizing and accepting the limits of our impact. We can offer help, but we cannot control the outcomes. Just as the Stoics accept that some things are outside their control, so must we understand that the ultimate responsibility for change lies with the individual we are assisting. This realization can be freeing, allowing us to offer our help without attachment to the results. confident that we have acted rightly regardless of the outcome. Practicing mindful kindness is about bringing thoughtfulness, awareness, and intention to our ACTS of compassion. ITS, about making sure that our kindness is not just felt, but is also functional and fostering. By integrating Stoic principles into our everyday acts of generosity, we not only enhance the value of our kindness, but also deepen our connection to our own values and principles. This approach doesn't just change the way we act, it transforms the way we live. ITS inevitable. Sooner or later, we all face moments where our kindness is met with disrespect. ITS frustrating, ISNT it, when you extend a hand and instead of gratitude, you get a slap in the face, either literally or metaphorically. But HERES, a Stoic twist on handling these situations. Instead of reacting with hurt or anger, we can choose to respond with wisdom. This shift is not just about keeping our cool, ITS, about turning a potentially negative interaction into a learning experience for both parties involved. Stoicism teaches us that our actions are within our control, even if external actions are not. When someone disrespects us, ITS easy to react impulsively, perhaps with anger or withdrawal. However, responding with wisdom means taking a step back and analyzing the situation. Why did the disrespect occur? Often, ITS not entirely about us, but about the other person's struggles or insecurities. By understanding this, we can address the situation more effectively and compassionately without escalating the conflict. A wise response begins with maintaining our composure. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who faced betrayal and disrespect, even from his closest allies. Yet he chose to handle these situations with a level head, focusing on rational responses rather than emotional reactions. In our own lives, this might mean pausing before responding, allowing ourselves time to cool down if we're feeling heated. This pause is crucial. It gives us the space to formulate a response that aligns with our values and the outcome we desire, rather than one that simply vents our frustrations. Next, consider the importance of clear communication. When facing disrespect, ITS helpful to express how the behavior affects us without placing blame. For instance, you might say, when you speak to me in that tone, I feel undervalued and hurt. I want to understand your perspective, but I also need to be treated with respect. This kind of statement opens the door for dialogue without accusation, which is more likely to lead to a productive resolution than a heated argument. Additionally, Stoicism encourages us to look for the opportunity in adversity. Disrespectful interactions, while unpleasant, can teach us about our boundaries and how firmly we are prepared to defend them. They can also be a catalyst for strengthening our resilience and our ability to handle difficult social situations. Every time we choose a wise response over a reactive one, not just navigating the moment, building our character and reinforcing our commitment to live virtuously. ITS also essential to know when to disengage. Stoicism doesn't mean enduring abuse or continual disrespect. Sometimes the wisest response is to remove ourselves from toxic situations. This isn't an act of defeat, but a strategic decision, recognizing that our well-being is our responsibility. Seneca wrote extensively about the peace that comes from removing oneself from drama and conflict, advising that we should not feel compelled to stay in situations that harm our spirit. In practicing these responses, we also set an example for others. Our calm demeanor and thoughtful communication can serve as a model for how conflict should be handled, potentially influencing others to adopt similar approaches. This is the ripple effect of Stoic wisdom. Not only does it change US, but it also has the potential to change those around US, one interaction at a time. Responding to disrespect with wisdom is about more than just managing a single interaction. It's about cultivating a lifelong approach to challenges and conflicts. By integrating Stoic principles into these moments, we ensure that our responses are not only appropriate for the situation at hand, but also reflective of the deeper values we aspire to live by every day. This approach doesn't just resolve conflicts, it transforms them into opportunities for growth and understanding. Remember, the strength of your character isn't shown by how you revel in comfort, but how you face challenges. Thank you for spending this time with me and for being a part of our live Virtue Stoic community. If you found today's discussion helpful, please check out one of the suggested videos on your screen to continue your journey with US. Stay wise, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.